It's a beautiful spring day. Not really. It's actually a beautiful late winter day. But weather like this has a lot of people thinking about spring, and they're starting seeds, which is just fine if you start a lot of seeds and you've got a lot of time and a lot of space so you can grow them on and repot them. That's fabulous. But if you're like me and you have to be selective because you don't have a lot of space or time, you have to be choosy about what seeds you start right now. That's what I'm doing. There are a lot of seeds that I got this year to grow in my garden in various places. I'll try to break them down for you. I'm realizing as I look through this stack, I probably got too many. The only saving grace is that the majority of them that I get are ones that can be sown outside. And that's because, honestly, I don't have a lot of space inside. My grow space for starting seeds, I don't know about you, but it's in my basement. This little sowing station, or seed starting station that I put together about a year ago is a pretty small footprint. I've got a couple other grow lights and things that I've sort of cobbled together from various places in the house, and maybe that will work too. I guess we don't know until we actually try it. I'm used to just growing plants outside, not starting seeds inside. But this is a great cost-saving measure. I mean, for pennies on the dollar, you can start amazing plants indoors. That's provided you get them to thrive long enough and grow big enough and strong enough so that they can survive rabbits when you put them outside or changes in weather, that sort of thing. We're looking for hardy plants put outside in the right place at the right time, and that's crucial for my Zone 5 garden. So get started with poppies. Let's start with the ones that I can sow outside. Now, a lot of these seeds are so small that I kind of need a way to mark where I've put them, because yes, it's gorgeous outside right now, but I know that snow and spring rains and even ice will happen yet in my garden, and I need to be able to know where these are. So when it comes time to mulch, that these won't be covered up, because they need light to germinate. They're very small seeds. They need cold and they need light. So one of the best ways I can find to do that is to add just something that's innocuous that will eventually go away in the landscape and it won't leave a big footprint, that sort of thing, but to be able to see it, to be able to see the seeds specifically. So I've just got I got it in a craft store, some colored sand. It will wash into the soil and disappear in the mulch eventually, but just to be able to see the seeds where they are when I plant them, I'm going to mix some sand up with some of these smaller seeds. Okay. It occurred to me I need to show you what the seeds I've got this year. So for the ones that can be sown outdoors, either now or soon, I've got the poppies, Shirley Amazing Gray, Grey. That's what this one is called. Okay. And Poppy Pandora. So it's recommended for poppies and for a number of these plants to sow them outdoors 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost. Well, we're going to have frost yet, I know it. I've also got Miss Wilmot's Ghost. So I like this. It's a type of sea holly is what it was known as, but this is a particular variety. And Euringium giganteum. These are gorgeous, tall, silvery blue plants that thrive well in full sun and drought conditions. They don't like rich, heavily fertilized soil because they'll just flop and they won't last. But it seems like for my type of garden that I've got back here, this might actually work. It says to sow outdoors in late summer to fall or indoors in winter. But there's a whole bunch of directions here regarding once you sow them, you have to keep them cool, and then you warm them up, and then you go back to cool. So I'm going to set this one aside for now. We'll see. Vickers Mead Angelica. This one is recommended to sow outdoors in early spring or fall. We'll just see if that works. Some of these do need cold stratification to go. Columbine, for example, to sow outdoors in fall or earliest spring, because again, these need some cold to stratify, to break the seed out of dormancy and get it to germinate. This one is Munstead White. I've also got Larkspur. This one is recommended to sow in early spring, 3 to 4 weeks before the last frost. So Giant Imperial Larkspur. Wouldn't this be pretty? Likes sun, so, you know, full sun, a lot of these. I've got some spaces here that I thought might work. Another full sun, a hardy annual. It does tolerate frost, but it's recommended to sow outdoors 3 to 4 weeks again before the last frost, and then again in early summer for continued bloom. So I've saved a couple of seed heads from gardener friends and just crumpled up these. They're really cool seed heads, and you know, in the fall, and they just show up. So it seems like once you have these, you'll always have these, because I think they're kind of neat. And again, my poppies, I'm going to start with these. I'm going to mix these with some blue sand so I can see where they've been placed. And I pictured, since I've got both blue and pink, I pictured that putting them in the ash tree mound, that space up front that's going to have full sun before we put the tree in there in later spring. But we'll see if we can get these started. Let's begin. I'm going to start with Amazing Gray, and it's a packet within a packet. If you can see how small these seeds, they're like grains of sand. So I'm going to mix the gray and the Poppy Pandora, the pink, together and plant them, and we'll see. I can always separate them out once the seeds actually grow, but I need something to mix them in so I can plant them outdoors. These are so small that I don't want to risk losing them. Man, is it easy to, so easy to lose track of these. So I'm going to mix a little bit of blue sand. This is an old jam jar. Just some decorative sand. But like I said, I got it at a craft store. So I'm just putting these in here. See how small they are. I don't know if you can see. They're grains of sand. Putting them in there. And Poppy Pandora. Oh, these don't have a separate. Jeez. Botanical Interest is the name of this company. And it's just, they're just loose in there. Wow. Okay. All right. Good luck, boys. And the problem with that is, see, can you see the little seeds that are left in there? Impossible to get out. There's a couple of those seeds. The problem with leaving them behind is, look, those are like a dozen plants right there, at least, that are stuck in the packaging, in the crevice of the packaging. And so that wasn't a lot of foresight in packaging there. The picture they painted is very pretty, but yeah, wow. I hate to waste seeds. Put the lid on, shake them up. Okay. So I have Pandora's Poppy and Amazing Gray. I have learned it's important to put some little ID tags in there, just even though I can see that something's been planted there because of the blue sand. I want to be able to identify the two varieties in the hopes that those will stand out in the landscape here for a while. As for the Albion, the Love in a Mist, the black pod, I'm going to put those right here in front of my clematis, the Nubia clematis. And there's a couple of varieties here of red blooming clematis, which I think will be good. As for the Munstead White, the columbine, I'm going to plant that in front of the white rose that I have here. I think that would be a nice combination. We'll see how it goes. that's it for this time. And there's always more work to do, including keeping those bird feeders full this time of year. All of those creatures certainly depend on it when the winters get long. We maybe don't think about it and when there are warm streaks like there have been here in the last week or so, but the winter is far from over. Certainly have learned that the hard way. So, as a national certified wildlife habitat and garden, I know that it is a responsibility to keep all the creatures happy and fed through the winter. So I do try to do that. Now, granted, some creatures are maybe more welcome than others, but it's just part of the whole big picture. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time here on Milkweeds and Roses.